الله الرحمن الرحيم. وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي أفلا يؤمنون. صدق الله العظيم.
الجبل الأخضر, the green mountain. God's green gift. It's a paradise among the deserts. Al-Jabal, this fascinating nature of various kinds of plants, trees and bushes, with wild flowers mingled to make a magic music. Its impact was on many people. The artist imitated the beauty of colorful diverse of life. Poets wrote their songs, and romantic people loved its nature.
ما كيف الجبل كيف ربيع دايم خضر وفوق من كل توصيف حسنه يزهي النظر.
وايام الكفاح معروف بشيخ الجهاد عمر اللي عاش عمره عفيف وصنديد ما يهاب الخطر.
الجبل الأخضر stretched along the Mediterranean in prospect view on the coast about 58 kilometers long and 50 kilometers from the coast to the desert. There are many kinds of trees cover the mountain. Arar, Batum, and Ishmari plants have the highest proportion. Rains in the mountain area fall in winter time because of the western winds. It reaches about 600 millimeters in some seasons, which gives the chance to the strips to slip. Bushmal Spring, one of the most famous historical springs in the area. It is in the southeast of Al-Gubba town. It has pure and abundant water. The pilgrims' trains used to pass this spring long ago. The Moroccan traveler Muhammad al-Abdari mentioned Bushmal when he was on one of his journeys to the area in the 7th century Hijriya. When he wrote, Bushmal Spring is in the middle way between the forest and the Qibla to the north. He said in other place, I asked an Arabian about a water named Bushmal. He said, to go straight you find it. His words were in perfect Arabic language. Bushmal Spring still sleeping till now. Apollo Spring. In the ancient Greek civilization, the legend mingles with the truth. In this place, Apollo, the god, saw the nymph, Serene, putting the lion down and killing it. He admired her and her braveness, so he decided to marry her. He married Serene and made the wedding pageant in his golden equipage. A flock of geese dragged it. Then he built a city for her, which took Serene as a name. A spring ran down the city. It took the name of Apollo the god 3,000 years ago. Stuwa Spring. Stuwa is one of the most beautiful and copious springs in the zone. Its fountainhead flows deeply down Stuwa Valley in the north of Lamlouda village, near Al-Gubba city. Although this spring is rich and gives large quantities of water, the hand of modernization did not reach it. It did not find the care it deserves, and its water goes away with no benefit. Because of the mountains, it is difficult to reach the spring, and only few people can do so, especially on the north side of the valley, which is the most beautiful. It's a little river, goes stealthily down the earth. Springs. More than 200 springs slip down الجبل الأخضر valleys. These springs were the source of the ancient man's life thousands of years ago. Also, they complete the beautiful view of the forest, valleys and flat lands. They form one of the main attracting factors of tourists. Visitors who love nature from all over Libya and abroad. Man harmed the environment by deforesting, goat breeding and fires, the environment's main enemy. This disuse also reaches the springs, so many of them became dry. But while we are looking forward to build the modern state, we keep our fingers crossed to be able to preserve this natural wealth and to take care of it. This care will bring back the blaze of the area which has been lost for ages. St. Marcos Spring. It locates on the hills in the valley named Wadi Marcos, between Ras Al Hilal and Lathroun villages on the Mediterranean. Here, in this place, St. Marcos built his first church after he was taught the Christianity doctrines by Jesus, peace be upon him, in Jerusalem, and returned to teach the new religion to fundamentalist pagan people in the area. Near this spring, St. Marcos erected the baptizing room. Its remains still stand as a witness. For this place, St. Marcos imparted Jesus' message to the European world. This spring still streaming. Ras Al Hilal Falls, a splendid place in الجبل الأخضر, and it is famous all over Libya. These falls took the name of the village of Ras Al Hilal, which was known during the old ages by the Greek name Naustathmos, which meant shelter of sailors. The beauty of the site attracted many tourists and nature lovers. During the Italian colonization period, the Italian commander Marshal Balboa admired the fascinating falls and ordered to build a rest place for himself. The remains of the building still stand. Darna Fall. Darna Fall is the city-famous mark and symbol that impulses with life, the revealer of artists and poets all the time, and the city guard from thirst. When the fall spouts, the city sleeps on its rhythm and throws all its fatigue and sadness on its valley banks. Darna Fall flows along the valley where jasmine odors fill it, and the valley's clod gives the most delicious famous pomegranate of Darna. Wind up. Millions of cubic meters of fresh water go with no benefit or use in every moment. And this wealth did not have the necessary attention during the previous regime and has been carelessly left. The Italians, during their colonization period of these rich territories, cared about these sources of water. They repaired springs, built cisterns, put sentries to watch them, and threatened he who even tried to touch them by hard punishments. As we mentioned, we are full of hope that the new Libyan state will know the importance of these sources and take care of them by putting development plans of protection to add an impulsion of all tourists' economic fields. You may notice that we did not go through any scientific or technical information that describes these sources. We meant that to give the conference the chance to discuss them. But we concentrated only on the natural description to offer the enjoyment to the dear participants. We hope that we were successful, as we also hope that our guests will find their contributions beneficial and they have an enjoyable visit to الجبل الأخضر region, the den of the Jihad lion المختار. Thank you.
الوضع المائي الحالي في ليبيا كان محورا للمؤتمر الأول للموارد المائية في منطقة الجبل الأخضر شرق ليبيا، وذلك من خلال النظر للاحتياجات المستقبلية للمياه في إطار إعادة تقييم استخدام الموارد المائية غير المتجددة وفقا لمفهوم التنمية المستدامة.
لدينا مصادر مائية كثيرة في هذه المنطقة، منطقة الجبل الأخضر، ونود من خلال عرض البحوث والآراء أن نصل إلى حلول حتى ننهض بهذه المنطقة.
ومن أبرز التوصيات التي يؤمل أن يخرج بها المؤتمر تقييم الوضع المائي الحالي ووضع آليات لرفع كفاءة القائمين على مشاريع المياه، بالإضافة إلى زيادة وعي الجمهور ووضع السياسات والتشريعات التي تسمح بتحقيق تنمية اقتصادية.
لابد أن نعي أن تقنين المياه مهم جدا، يعني المحافظة على المياه سواء على الصعيد الفردي أو على الصعيد الدولة أو على الصعيد المؤسسات المجتمع المدني، لابد أن يكون في هناك توعية وتوعية إرشادية لكي يتم عملية استقبال كميات من المياه بشكل محدود وبشكل موفق.
أما على الأرض فالمياه السطحية قليلة جدا في ليبيا، ولا تزيد عن 50% من الموارد المائية للبلاد، ولا توجد أنهار أو وديان دائمة، بل تجري أغلبها وقت هطول الأمطار ولفترات قصيرة خلال الشتاء، ومن ثم يتم الاستفادة من المياه السطحية المطيرة في الوديان لتغذية الخزانات الجوفية أو حجز المياه لاستخدامها في الأغراض المختلفة.
عددنا العيون المنتجة في المنطقة، وأبرزها طبعا عين الدبوسية واستوى وأبولو، طبعا هذين يستفيد منهم الإنسان، وفي عين القبة وعين طيبة الأسم ومرقس والبلاد بتاع الدرنة وابو منصور وعدة عيون أخرى، والناس تستفيد من المياه بتاعها.
يبقى الرهان إذن على إيجاد توازن بين الهدر والتقشف في المياه في ليبيا لحفظها نقية مستديمة لأيام صعاب قادمة.
Flows, disappears off that landscape because the topsoil to hold it has gone, that top 10 centimeters, and what you're left with is a hard surface that does not hold the water. Much of the water finishes up in the desert. This was a photograph in June where Wadiranda was flooding. And the water finishes up in these basins where it's not entirely lost. The government has dug deep trenches which trap some of that water and provide it for local use. In addition to wasting water because of soil loss and the inability to hold it, one of the consequences is dust and sand blowing, and not just a problem for rangelands. But they're easily killed, either smothered by dust, water doesn't hold in the soil, they become dehydrated and they die. And the final result looks something like this. No topsoil, little vegetation, no protection from wind and dust. So the land management, and that's to construct check dams of stone across wadis that are eroding at regular intervals. This image on the right is from South El Abiar, 5 check dams in a fairly short distance. In this Google Earth image, there are 20 check dams in this picture. Unfortunately, they're not always fully effective. In these two examples, yes, they're holding the soil and providing a a place where. So as long as we have water running off the upland part of the landscape, we still have a problem. And we need to combine this wadi management with upland management. Manage for landscape hydrology, not just wadi hydrology. And I think the key to that water management was of the problem in the rangelands. It's too many livestock walking over the land, trampling that destroys the integrity of the soil surface. And I emphasize walking rather than feeding, because I think it's the numbers that are walking that are the problem. You look at the FAO data for livestock numbers over the past 50 years, you can see a steady increase. And the steepest rise in numbers is from 2000 to 2010, where the increase is 80% in livestock numbers in Libya. Now those numbers are not dependent on forage found on the land. They're dependent on feed found in the trough, barley. The numbers on the rangeland are far in excess of...
But I might say that we have a system, an Arabian system, that's basically managed to protect the rangeland management in Arabia since 1,500 years ago. It's called the HIMA system. And basically what you made, the 4 recommendations you made, it's well defined in the HIMA system. And even though, because at that time, tribes, they move from one side of the country to another, looking for water and greenery. And actually this is, by nature, a management. We leave the place that we just grazed to another place for 6 months, which give the time for this place to regenerate, kind of, give it a break. The HIMA system, I think, can be revisited here, and probably we can couple it. We already have an initiative, and it is headed by His Royal Highness Prince of Jordan. We just launched it last week. And one of them is management of natural resources based on a community level, engaging the community who lives in that area, how to manage their natural resources, for their own benefit. Thank you. I enjoyed your presentation.
I think that the HEMA system, it's blessed in the Quran. It's an excellent system, and I'm familiar with the work of Omar Draj years ago, who wrote about it and got me interested in it. And in Morocco they have a similar thing called the Agdal system. And where the society provides this as a mechanism, as a protocol, then it's virtually doing, in a better way, I believe, what we've talked about here, because it has the sanction of society and of Islam.
Absolutely.
And what we're doing here is basically working with families and the family land. But I agree with you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bey. And I think I am trying to say something about the third solution, which you are trying to say that, like putting the sheep and the animals inside something inside places. I think there's another study in the same area which we are studying there, that there should be specifying the time and the length of the period. The length of the period should be like during the period of flowering, the grazing area, and also the same thing, the substitution of feeding. What kind of feeding during that period. So I'm just trying to say that the period and the substitution of things. The study was an economical study, not really. So we find it's better than doing other things. Thank you.
And some operating, and we were prepared to do some economic analysis, looking at productivity, costs of production, and so on. Unfortunately, we weren't able to complete that side of the project, but I think it has potential.
Three potentials. Consider this is a method of an efficient use of water or maintenance of water in the soil. We know that the trees will prevent a good method of keeping water in the soil.
He's asking about the plantation of trees and shrubs. How the effect of that is actually verified when you're studying something else?
Yes, such as Atroflex numerare, for example, in plantations. I don't know any studies in Libya that have looked at that in terms of soil water resources. Those shrubs, they're certainly more productive than outside the plantation in terms of plant production.
Prevents dissertation erosion. Dissertation. It prevents dissertation, more desert.
Less desertification. A plantation is always going to be
location you have to deal with. Now we are very optimistic, agree on the side. The priorities and the geographical locations for tackling such a problem. If you are asked to choose an area where you can really demonstrate the effectiveness of these practices, will you be able to?
I think anywhere between 150 and 200 millimeters, the higher rainfall portion of the steppe region, we have seen extraordinary response. For somebody coming from a non-Mediterranean environment, it is amazing how rapidly the ecosystems recover. In Australia, it would take 100 years to achieve what happens here in about 3 in a similar rainfall. In America, the same thing. So this is a natural asset that this environment has, and that is a collection of species and an ecosystem that is resilient to being knocked down and degraded and bouncing back extremely quickly, relatively speaking. So when I talk about protection from grazing, 3 years protection and then controlled management afterwards is a miracle if you suggested that in Australia or America.
What do you think about the technology, of the civil technology and the civil design used in this kind of structure in this country? Second, is there any other alternative, or are there any other alternatives for the conservation?
In the area where I've been working, one of my colleagues in this presentation, Mohammed, has been in charge of implementing, constructing these dams. I think it's very well intended, and as I illustrated, sometimes the effects are very
thanks for your coming and presenting. My question is to apply the fall solution. Is there any negative influence on the landscape, as we know you have different structure of the soil in Libya? Thanks a lot.
الله وبركاته. طالب مرافقين من الجزائر محاضر في جامعة الشارقة الإمارات. Well, I'm pleased to be among you today. I would like first of all to thank the organizer for this excellent organization of the conference. It's really proud to be here with you. It's really proud to see all your devotion to the success of this conference after the liberation of Libya. Bismillah. So my talk today is on decision support systems. Well, I have to put my glasses here. We are talking about water scarcity. We talk about available water that suddenly disappear. Like you see, this is the same picture of the same dam when the drought occurred. What can we do as a manager to solve the problems? What is the goal of developing a decision support system? Well, the goal is to support our system from failure, to continue supply water for the users, regardless of within or confronting the problems, we call it vulnerability, the problem of the system to satisfy, to be able to satisfy all the demand, to look at the best alternative of water systems. You have many sources. and you want to look at the best solution, how can we explore?
From Libya, and they asking you, how do you see Libya now?
Having been in Libya over the past 5 years, this is my first time back for about a year and a half, and I'm excited.
هو طبعا مبسوط جدا من يشوف في ليبيا ومتحمس.
الورقة أو البحث اللي شارك به في هذا المؤتمر.
The paper that you presented at the right now.
I presented a paper on technology that we developed in the United States that we want to use in Libya because it allows you to take wastewater and move the treatment of the wastewater to close to the source, to the home, either to the individual home or to a small community, or to take a city and break it up into small pieces. Use that wastewater to create the living environment with trees, forests, fruit trees, whatever you want.
التكنولوجيا اللي هو جاي بها جديدة ليبيا هي تعتمد على شيء بيولوجي، أخذها من بيننا هي شيء مركزي والمدينة كلها تصب فيها إلى فرقها، تقدر تديرها على مستوى بيت أو تقسم المدينة لعدة أقسام أو أجزاء وتعالج المياه في المنطقة نفسها اللي جاي منها الصرف الصحي، وتستخدم هذه المياه في الري، سواء انك انت تبدل بهن اشجار، غابات او اي شيء ثاني.
هل نفذت هذه التجربة مثلا عندهم او في بعض البلدان الاخرى؟
Did you implement such a technology somewhere else other than the US?
Yes, we have systems in Europe, we have systems in the Caribbean, we have systems in the United States, we have systems in Africa. There are several places that we have systems currently, and we're expanding, but Libya has turned into a place that we're really focusing our energy. There's a tremendous excitement here, but there's a tremendous need, and it looks as if Libya is positioned where I see tremendous advances here in Libya, and it provides me opportunities I won't have in the United States.
قال انه هو عندهم في عدة مكانات في العالم، في امريكا، في اوروبا، في افريقيا، في اسيا برضه، هو ما قالش عليها، ويقول لك ان الفرص في ليبيا عظيمة جدا، طبعا لعدم وجود معالجة الصرف الصحي لجميع المناطق، فتعتبر له هو فرصة غير طبيعية هنا.
أسأل كيف يرى يصير عمل المؤتمر الآن وانطباع يصير المؤتمر الآن يعني؟
ما فهمتكش.
يعني انطباع يصير العمل في المؤتمر الآن من الناحية العلمية.
المؤتمر هذا. How do you see this conference going this far, and what's your impression?
This conference has been fascinating. Unfortunately, I don't speak Arabic, so I had to miss some of it, but these talks have encompassed such a wide range of topics, and I think the message that comes through in all of this is how urgent the need to control water and to reuse water and to preserve water. There's been this focus on oil in the Middle East for the last 50 to 100 years, but water is so much more important, and I see the opportunity for the Middle East is to take that oil and take the profits they get from that oil and think very seriously about how do you make that oil create an environment where water suddenly becomes available and perpetual by creating forests, by creating the kinds of things that change this environment back to what it was 5,000 years ago before all the forests were cut down.
طبعا قال لك هو مبسوط من المؤتمر ونعتقد انه هو ناجح. فيه اشياء كثيره ما فهمهاش لانها بعض المحاضرات باللغه العربيه، بس قال لك في الوقت الحاضر ليبيا تقدر تستفيد من البرامج المقترحه في المؤتمر للاحتياجات اللي نحن نحتاج لها كثيره جدا، ولذلك يتمنى ان يشوف ان الفلوس اللي جايات من البترول تستخدم في كيف تقدر تطور البلد وكيف نقدر نستخدم هذه المياه ونطورها ونبني الغابات بحيث ممكن يوما ما ليبيا تجد شكلها كأنها زي 5000 سنة بعد فاضل، يعني يكون غابات وجناين وكل شيء. He thanks you and wishes you a good stay.
Thank you very much, and I would personally like to congratulate the Libyan people. As somebody from America, where we gained our freedom through revolution, it is wonderful to see this happen here.
he thanks you, يشكرك، وفي نفس الوقت يلا كأنه هو جاي من أمريكا وحتى هم كان عندهم ثورة وعندهم ديمقراطية ويتمنى أن ليبيا تكون نفس الشيء.
تشهد عليه بقاع ليبيا بما قدم تحديدا في مجال المياه، اعطى كثير في هذا المجال، وكان في مجالات عده في خدمه في موصل عميد كليه الموارد الطبيعيه، والشكر موصول لله الموارد ولجامعه المختار. التأكيد الثاني، نعم، نتيح فرصة لإطلاق الأسباب التكرارية. المهندس المرحوم موسى خليفة يونس الصعيدي، وضعيفا بمجالات هذا الوطن إلى أن غاية هذه الدنيا والخبرة وضياع الفكرة التنمية المستدامة والمحافظة على البيئة والمياه، فله الرحمة ولضمير التأكيد الفخر بالأسئلة والتنمية. كلية الموارد الطبيعية في الأول. هذا المتواضعين وتأكيد الاستراتيجية رجل من مجالات ليبيا، أعطى كثير من الوقت متمرد على النظام السابق، عرض كثيرا في مصلحة الوطن، تعرض للجهاد كثيرا، ولكنه وصل الثورة وهو موجود معي في هذا المؤتمر، انه سيد الدكتور هيدرولوجي سالم صالح غير الحداد. طبعا كان الإسلام الصراحة قوية وتطبيق الإسلام الإسلام الصراحة حدث التغيير الذي يعد من يدل على شيء الذي يدل على المنتهى على الجمعيات في أحد من هذه المؤسسة موجودة. تفضل الإسلام التغيير. وأشير إلى أن المؤتمر حافل بكثير من المفاجآت، سواء أنا شرفت ختام هذا الحفل بعون الله تعالى وإصابة في جميع المجالات. كان الأخوان في لجنة التكريم والتسليم. التكريم الثاني في برنامج إدارة المياه في جامعة الخليج العربي. التكريم الثالث لمشروع النهر السياحي. أحد الأخوان مشروع النهر السياحي يستلم التكريم وتكريم كل العاملين في مشروع النهر السياحي. مياه البحر. ونحيي كل العاملين في هذه الشركة التركيب الخامس للمركز البيئي لاستشعار الأموات. صراحة كنا طريقنا أمور جميلة. الآن سنكون هناك الموارد بتكليف المتحدثين الرئيسيين من الأشخاص والأسماء.
بس بعض الأسماء الذين شاركوا في فعالية المؤتمر ككينوس سبيكر وكانوا المتحدثين الرئيسيين. هذا البداية شهادة تقدير وتكريم للدكتور ولي صالح. طبيعية شهادة تقدير واحترام certificate to Dr. Harasi from India. Thank you very much. All the best. شهادة تقدير وامتنان واحترام للدكتور قاسم الرحمن. ليبيا شهادة تقدير واحترام للدكتور عاطف الحسيني. From Australia, Dr. Mowarد. From Libya again, Dr. محمد اللطيف. Dr. Muhammad is working at the Glasgow University and has been living in the UK for more than 20 years. And I think it's the start to join our conference. So congratulations and welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Experience Dr. Ali Al-Ibni. He worked in different countries, and he worked also in different countries of Europe. He had knowledge in water management, and he just, we had the conference recently, he applied, and he came to the conference, and I would like to thank him very much for his knowledge and all the history. Dr. his father from Jordan, from Jordan. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming to Libya. Thank you very much. This is from our regions, is working in the restoration of water. Martin, I think from Jordan. Thank you very much. This Dr. Gentleman, he's have lots of experience as well, and he has lots of producing government relations in Scotland. So thank you very much for him. From Libya as well, Dr. Al-Fatih. So thank you very much for all other activities for applying and submitted his paper. Today we have a special part in Shahad, and we would like to hear that our handle form certificate this party. This will be in historical place where we call the knowledge of living Shahad. So the nice feeling for these people, and we hope to deliver all the certificate tomorrow. Thank you very much. المشاركين الرائعين الحاليين والمجتمع على حضورهم وعلى اتباع القرارات التدبير والفتره المتميزه. غدا ستكون هناك حفل ختامي في مدينه الشحات النظريه بالتحديد في مدرسة الدولي أو الواقع تقديم هذه الشهادات العلمية لجمل الناس الأفاضل فلا يكون تقدير التقدير والعلماء التقدير بالبالغ لا تبقى تصل إلى الأستاذ العالم الحاسم يستخدم البرامج
ولابد أن نفرق بين النظام الحاكم وبين الشعب الجزائري وفي شعب بلاد. تحية لأشقائنا والدعاء الجزائري.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شكرا جزيلا على هذه الضيافة الواسعة والكريمة. في الحقيقة لست أجامل إن قلت أن هذه الزيارة وهذا المؤتمر من أجمل المؤتمرات ومن أرقى المؤتمرات التي رأيتها وليست مجاملة. وكل التحية وكل الشرف للشعب الليبي الشقيق، ودامت هذه البلد في عزة وفي طيبة ورقي. وشكرا جزيلا.
ضيفنا الكريم من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية دكتور ويلكم ليبيا.
On the eve of World Environment Day, let's pledge that Libya will do everything possible and leave no stone unturned to make this World Heritage of cultural site as a site of world importance. It's a site which speaks of Libyans' past, glorious past. Let it be a past for the world. Let's pledge we will do everything possible to bring those crimes which have made many of the sites in Libya as hotspots. Let's do everything possible to convert it to bright spots. The only action which we can pledge is we will bring to the notice of the world that we have a will to change it and we are ready for change. Long live Libyan past glory and the site which is a site of world heritage. I congratulate Libyans and I again support you that on behalf of the United Nations Environment Programme, we will do everything possible. We will push UNESCO, we will make UNESCO to come over here and do everything possible to restore it to its past glory. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Assalamu alaikum. It has been a wonderful experience taking part in this very important conference on water resources. I congratulate the team led by Professor Ramadan and the Al-Mukhtar University, Al-Mukhtar University. The last 1 week stay has been very memorable on the Mediterranean coast, and it's a very productive, and I could make many good connections with Arab scientists. And most important thing is, I was so impressed that the communications from Professor Ramadan has been very instantaneous. Around the clock, whenever I sent an email, round the clock she was working and he replied. That made me very encouraged to come here. Thank you very much.